In the past few decades, listening to music became an essential part of the human being, but that wasn't always like that. For centuries, the only melody that people could hear was the voices of birds. Today we don't use this opportunity so often, and that's a big mistake, because connecting with nature is essential for all of us. Usually when I go for a walk, I don't take my headphones, as listening to nature and its majestic sounds is a good way to relax and get a big portion of positive into my life. In today's video, we will take a look at different birds and rank them according to the loudness of their chirp. To begin with, we need to travel to Australia, the land of the kangaroo and lizards. Budgerigar is the first member of our today's list, and I'm pretty sure that some of my viewers are keeping it as a pet. Despite a small size comparing to the rest of the birds, Budgerigar is considered a pretty loud parakeet, which can be easily heard from any part of your house. This little bird may become so loud that it's possible for you to wake up at night because of its chirps. If you want to keep the Budgerigar as a pet, just make sure to place his cage in the room where you don't usually sleep, as usually this parakeet may get as loud as 70 decibels, which is comparable to the office noise. However, sometimes they may get even as loud as 110 decibels, leaving you no chance to relax. Fortunately, we've got a recording of his chirp, so let's listen to it.
Hey bird, hey sorry. Outside during tier 3.
Budgerigar is undoubtedly a loud pet friend, which comes at number 10 in today's list. We don't need to travel far to discover our next species, as its home is a famously known Papua New Guinea with its surrounding islands. The Moluccan Eclectus is the second member of the list and is not only loud but also colorful. Here the difference between the male and the female specimen has got to the point when you start thinking that these are the two different species of parrot. However, it's just an amazing example of sexual dimorphism. The Moluccan Eclectus produces a wide range of sounds, varying from ringing whistles to sharp squawks. Its main chirps can get as loud as 110 decibels, so if the Budgerigar already sounds too loud for you, then Moluccan Eclectus would sound like a working alarm clock 24/7. To understand how loud this parrot actually is, let's listen to some of its sounds. The Moluccan Eclectus is one of the most unusual parrot species I have seen, and it comes at number 9 in today's list. The Indian subcontinent is a place where lots of unique animals live, including a famously known peacock. Although the common name for this species is the peafowl, only the peacock can provide a striking coloration with an insanely loud vocalization, which is comparable with the loudness of a leaf blower. It's interesting to find out that even Alexander the Great was impressed by the beauty of a peacock, to the point that he even threatened the severest penalties to anyone who would harm one. Of course, the calls of the peacock cannot be compared with those of the parrots, but the piercing effect wouldn't leave you unimpressed. To understand what am I talking about, we should better listen to one of its compositions. Even though the peacock isn't the loudest bird in the list, it is surely a deserved member of it, which comes at number 8 in today's list. To discover our next species, we're heading over to South America. The Conure, also known as the sound parakeet, is among the cutest looking parakeets you can find in the jungles of Brazil and Guyana. Even though their native range isn't that big, their population keeps stable thanks to being among the most popular pet conures. The plumage of this parakeet is so colorful that it's hard to describe it with only a single word, but if I try to do so, I would tell you that its coloration reminds me the color of a juicy mango. If you want to have a flying pet friend, the sound parakeet is among the best friends you can find, as it likes to connect with people and give you all the love it has. In addition, the Conure is a pretty vocal bird which makes a wide variety of chirp sounds. Just make sure you listen to its vocals before buying this pet friend, as sometimes its chirps can reach 120 decibels, and here is one of the examples of the Conure's vocals. The sound parakeet is undoubtedly a bright and friendly bird, which comes at number 7 in today's list. For our next species, we need to come back to Australia, as this is the place where Cockatiel lives in the wild. If all the previous members of the list were already loud to you, then this species would truly become a constant loudmaker. Cockatiel is an extremely vocal and loud bird, and if it gets bored, it starts chirping a lot, so you should think twice before getting it as a pet. You can always easily identify this parrot species by the crash crest at its head, which also defines the bird's mood. When the parrot is excited or happy, the crest stays dramatically vertical. However, when bird feels threatened or angry, the crest becomes flattened closer to the head. You should always remember how loud this bird is, because this is the first member of the list whose chirp can harm your hearing, especially if it vocals right next to your ear. Sometimes they make it as loud as 123 decibels, so it's highly recommended to listen to this bird before getting it as a pet. Luckily, we've got an opportunity to do that, so let's listen to its chirp. Cockatiel is a fantastically looking parrot species with an amazing and loud vocalization, which comes at number 6 in today's list. The following species on the list is yet another inhabitant of the Amazon forest, and it can be easily found in both Central and South America. The Mealy Amazon is among the largest parrots in Americas, which is only surpassed by the large Mikhails. Its feathers are mainly green with a slight yellow shade at its head and a whitish ring around the eyes. Although this parrot is known for being calm and quiet, that doesn't mean that it can't make a loud noise. Some of its loudest chirps can reach a level of 124 decibels, which is comparable with a pretty loud concert. Even though it is considered a quiet body, first you should always listen to its vocalization before getting this parrot as a pet. The Mealy Amazon is not only beautiful but also really loud, so that's why it comes at number 5 in today's list. I'm sure that the following species on the list was heard many times by a vast majority of my viewers, as this bird is pretty common in rural areas. I won't lie if I say that the rooster is among the best known of the loudest birds in the world. Here we've got an amazing example of sexual dimorphism, where males are not only larger than females, but also much louder. A typical rooster crow only at around 90 decibels, which is the same as a barking dog, but some individuals can crow at around 130 decibels or even louder. This sound is typically produced in the morning, and the people who were raised in the village and the former Soviet Union still use this crow as an alarm clock. However, today we do not hear roosters so often, so listening to its vocals is now almost an exotic thing, which is what we are going to do right now. Rooster is one of the most common birds we've seen today, which comes at number 4 in today's list. Now we're heading over to the top 3 of the loudest birds in the world, and once again this list is opened up with South America. The white bellbird is one of the most well-known exotic birds in the world, as many of you have probably heard it serenade at least once. It is commonly found in the Amazon rainforest, but unfortunately you can't have it as a pet, as they don't breed in captivity. A few years ago this bird became really popular in social media, as millions of people have discovered its unique call, which doesn't remind none of the previously mentioned bird species. Its calls are typically described like a fire alarm clock with a constant sound of 125 decibels. I decided to put this bird higher than rooster because the vocalization of the white bellbird is stable, while rooster's crow typically spans only a few seconds. To better understand what am I talking about, we should first listen to such a unique bird. The white bellbird is a prime example of an exotic loud bird, which comes at number 3 in today's list. Now the things are getting even more interesting as we're getting closer to the loudest bird species. The Moluccan Cockatoo, which is also known as the salmon-crested cockatoo, is native to the Seram archipelago in Indonesia, and it is among the largest of the white cockatoos. If you're from the United States, you've got a unique opportunity to witness an introduced population of this bird on the island of Oahu, which is a part of a Hawaiian archipelago. If you are a beginner pet keeper, you should better avoid having this parrot as a first pet, as it is considered one of the most demanding parrot species in the world due to its large size and a potential noise level. Its chirp can reach a significant 135 decibels, which can immediately harm your hearing. To understand how loud it is, let's listen to its vocalization. The Moluccan Cockatoo is not only loud but also a brilliant looking parrot, and it comes at number 2 in today's list. For the final species on our today's list, we need to travel back to South America, where we can find the multiple colonies on the Nanday Parakeet. However, you can also find multiple populations of these birds in the United States, where caged birds were released and then established as self-sustainable populations. If you are from the Los Angeles, San Antonio, or the state of Florida, you've got a pretty high chances to meet these birds on the streets of your city. The Nanday Parakeet can be easily recognized by its green feathers and a black facial mask with a beak. Sometimes people decide to keep this parrot as a pet, but they should always remember how loud this bird is, as sometimes its chirp can reach an insane 155 decibels, which is only comparable with the firecrackers. Although its vocals are really loud, I find them really interesting to listen, and I suggest to do that together. The Nanday Parakeet is of course a champion of this list, and that's why it comes at number 1 in today's list. Well, that's it for today. Please put a like on this video and subscribe to my channel to see more content about the animals. See you next time, bye bye!